Hey, what's going on, my cringy crew? Welcome back to Nerd HQ. Today's the day. Today is the day that we finally go over and review the episodes of WandaVision, episode 6, 7, and 8. So, let's go ahead and get this started. Before we get started, I actually want to show you guys. I got a new shirt in the mail. It has a back to it too. Just got in the mail like yesterday. This is one of the things I was expecting to ship in the mail, along with this chair, and we also got a surprise unboxing video after this, because I would do it in this because it is WandaVision related, so it will be a WandaVision unboxing video. With one surprise unboxing as well, along with the WandaVision things as well. So I'll be doing that after this, but for now, I'm sure we've waited long enough to do a review over episode 6, 7, and 8 just come out, so I mean we're kind of on time for that. But I wanted to get these done because episode 9 will be a reaction video. I'll be doing it with my lovely fiance, and we'll be reacting to that next week. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump directly into episode 6 review. I took down notes and everything. That way I'm not just everywhere with everything, and hopefully this video won't last too long. I had to drink a cup of joe, make sure we got everything ready. So, and I'm like wired. So here we go. So episode 6, awesome episode. Probably, depending on how good episode 9 is, episode 6 is probably my favorite episode. But it starts out as a Malcolm in the Middle intro. If you guys aren't familiar with Malcolm in the Middle, it was a show that came out late 90s, early 2000s, pretty sure. And this was a Halloween episode, so you guys got to actually see everyone in their comic accurate outfits, which was kind of cool. Vision is pretty much just out of Wanda's control at this point, after he found out in episode 5 what she was really doing when he woke Norm up. But he was supposed to, in Wanda's eyes, if she would have been in control of him, Wanda would have had him pretty much trick-or-treating with the kids with her. But that didn't really go as planned. Vision pretty much told Wanda a fib, and told her that he was going to be out doing his neighborhood watch stuff, because that was technically his job, his second job. But actually, he was going out and searching for a way to leave Westview, because in episode 5 he asked Wanda, you know, what's outside of Westview. He doesn't know, so he's curious. He's wanting answers. So instead of, you know, really going out on neighborhood watch, watching out for like people or kids like TPing houses and stuff like that and vandalizing the town, he's literally just trying to find a way to leave Westview and just searching for clues, really. Yeah, like I said, everyone has their Scarlet Witch has her comic accurate costume, and so has Vision. But they have like weird ways of explaining their costumes. Wanda explains it as her outfit is supposed to be like a Sokovian fortune teller, and Vision pretty much explains that his is a Mexican wrestler, a luchador or whatever. But they're literally like their comic accurate outfits, as you can see here. And Pietro is pretty much he shows up in this after he made like a surprise end of an episode appearance at episode 5. Of course shows back up in this to be the uncle that pretty much gives everyone grief or whatever. And he pretty much just acts like a brother to the kids, almost like he acts like the brother that was in Malcolm in the Middle. So that was pretty much his role in the Malcolm in the Middle references. But Pietro, as the kids explain it, Pietro's a man-child, and he's good with the kids. Like, I guess that's what makes him good with the kids. And speaking of the kids, they have their comic accurate outfits as well. Billy is dressed like his comic accurate version of Wiccan, and Tommy, yeah, it's Billy and Tommy. Tommy is got his pretty much his accurate version of his counterpart in the comics, Speed. And so is Pietro. Pietro and Speed both have their pretty much comic accurate outfits. Then Vision decides to go on, like I said, tries to decide to go on neighborhood watch, and I mean technically he is, because he's going throughout the town like investigating. So technically he's still technically watching the town. But he's pretty much he's finding people that's just frozen, and pretty much left on autopilot. And then it pans off to the real world, and it goes to Hayward and Monica's team. Hayward pretty much shows his true colors by being an asshole. He wants to kill Wanda, like he doesn't want to take her in alive or anything. Like, he has like some kind of grudge against superheroes apparently, because even when he mentions the fact of Monica being like too close to the situation, he pretty much throws Captain Marvel in her face, as if like Captain Marvel was a problem. Apparently something happened to Hayward within the 5 years of this, in between the snap and the blip. Like, something happened where he really just hated like people with powers or heroes, or I mean, that's kind of up in the air, and nothing's answered yet, even as of now. But yeah, he like throws it up in Monica's face, saying something about how like it's a good thing that you wasn't here when your mother died, because you clearly don't have the stomach for this job. Like, who the hell says that? Like, he's clearly just trying to get at Monica, and really just try to piss her off. And it's working, but at least, I mean, she's being the better person about it. And he kicks Monica's team off base. Jimmy, Darcy, and Monica, they're pretty much sent to leave base, because Hayward kicks them off of it. And then when pretty much these guards are taking Monica's team off base, Jimmy Woo and Monica just start kicking their ass. So that's the first time you actually really see Jimmy be a badass. Speaking of kick-ass, when we pan back over to Wanda's world, like the Pietro and Wanda are taking the kids out trick-or-treating. Well, when they take them out trick-or-treating, the kids like run off, and Pietro yells out, "Unleash hell, demon spawn," which obviously is a clear nod to the comics, that when in the comics, Billy and Tommy are actually shards of Mephisto's soul. Whether or not that's actually going to be relevant in the MCU is still to be determined, but we'll see. And like I said, speaking of kick-ass, Speed or Tommy ends up saying something about how like something's kick-ass, and Pietro's like, he like agrees with him. He's like, yeah, kick-ass. And Wanda's like, she just repeats it. She's like, kick-ass, which is a clear nod to the movie Kick-Ass, because Evan Peters and Aaron Taylor Johnson, which are both played Quicksilver, They were both also in the superhero movie Kick-Ass. They wasn't really superheroes. They really didn't have powers, but they were like nerds and they went out being superheroes or whatever. But yeah, they were both in the movie Kick-Ass. So just a clever nod to that. But Wanda keeps trying to test Pietro, like ask him random questions, stuff that doesn't really make sense for the time that for the situation that they're in. She just starts testing him, asking him like random questions, and he notices, and he pretty much just tells her, I'm here, because you needed me, you know. So that doesn't really work. He pretty much just plays it off. But then that hands off to Vision, and Vision finds people like on autopilot, like they're like there's like a lady that's hanging up like Halloween decorations, and she's just stuck in a loop, hanging like a skeleton up or whatever, and she's crying. So she's like, her mind is still there and it's still awake, but she can't do anything about it because of Wanda. And Wanda, it's like Wanda doesn't realize how powerful she really is, that she's really doing this to all these people. It's like she don't know her own strength, pretty much. And then there's the commercial break with this weird-ass shark. It's strange. It's a commercial on Yo Magic. It's kind of a nod to the 90s on like the Trix yogurt cups, or the Danimals. That was the thing. And the commercial gets really dark because the kid can't open the Yo Magic, like he's starving on the island, and the shark pops up and is like, here, try some Yo Magic. And the shark leaves, and the kid's like trying to take the thing off to get some, but he can't take it off. Like it's stuck. Like he can't open the yogurt, and he just starves to death on the island. You see him die. And that's the commercial. Really dark and weird, especially for a Marvel show made by Disney. But, it obviously means something because every commercial has something to do with Wanda. So, in my opinion, I think that, just theorizing and just assuming, it probably means that maybe without magic, Wanda would die, or she would already be dead, And like when Wanda continues to test Pietro, and she asks him, what happened to your accent? And he snaps back at her, and he's like, what happened to yours? Because the thing with Wanda is, ever since Age of Ultron, her accent kind of comes and goes. I guess it's just her just trying to get used to the States or whatever, ever since she moved from Sokovia. And then the kids show up, and they say like, hey, let's hit this house that has like full-size candy bars, and Speed like leaves, or Tommy leaves to go get the bars after Billy asks if it's okay, but when he leaves, he uses his speed, so he shows his comic book powers, which is Quicksilver's ability. Then it pans back off to Monica's team, and they're like hacking the systems to figure out what's going on with Hayward and what he's really up to. They find out that Hayward is actually tracking Vision, like Vision's body. And they're just like they're trying to figure out why Vision would be important to Hayward instead of Wanda, and why Hayward would be holding this information from them, because apparently Hayward's known all along how to pretty much get information or look into the situation of inside the Hex. Then Vision pans back off to Vision, and he finds Agnes in her car. It's like a weird situation, and later you find out after watching episode 8 why it's so weird. But Agnes is like, she's not on autopilot, like she's not stuck. Like everyone else can't say anything, can't really move, but Agnes is able to talk. Apparently, she like tells Vision that she's lost. She's trying to get to town square scare, and she can't find it. And he's like, "You can't find it in the city you grew up in." And she's just like, kind of like, "Huh, well." Vision like wakes her up, and she's like freaking out or whatever. She eventually just explains to him that he's dead, and that he's an Avenger. He's like, "I'm a what?" And she's like, "Why do you not know?" Which she actually looked genuinely shocked that he didn't know or didn't have memories. But but she's like starts laughing maniacally and shit because she thinks that there's no way out of the hex. So, and that's where her car was. Like, she was literally on the outskirts of town. When normally she's literally right there with Wanda in the center of the town, doing her thing. But she was literally on the outskirts of the city, which is weird. But maybe she was trying to escape. Who knows? But yeah. Vision tells her that he's going to find a way to help everybody, that he's going to find a way out of the hex, and then he puts her back where she was in her mind, and she drives off and, tells him Happy Halloween. So, he leaves, goes to leave outside the barrier, and attempts to leave, and then it pans back off to Pietro and Wanda talking, and Pietro's like, apparently knows everything that's going on with Wanda, that apparently he starts asking her questions, and he's actually being the one that's questioning her now, in a way kind of testing her as well, he keeps like asking her, how'd you do all this, used to, all you could do is, do your little weird wiggly hand thing with your magic, his he describes it as wiggly woos, giving people nightmares and stuff. And now she can pretty much control the whole town. So he's just trying to figure out how she did it. And she's like, "What do you think this is wrong?" She's like, do you think this is wrong?" He's like, "Well, no." He's like, if anything, he's like, "I'm impressed." He's like, look what you've done." And then he explains to her, that, there wasn't kids before, and now there's like tons of children. He pretty much explains to her, how the situation is and how it's weird, and he's just trying to get answers out of her, and she don't know. But then like she pans off and like looks back at him, and he's a dead corpse, like he's shot up like her brother was and everything. And then apparently Billy uses his powers. He gets sense that Vision is actually leaving the hex, and he's in trouble. And this is pretty much what happens to Vision. He's just falling apart. He's getting ripped to shreds by the hex. The hex is like trying to suck him back in. And Darcy's trying to help. Like Hayward and the team are there on the outside of the hex, watching him come out, and they're not helping him. And Vision's like falling apart, while at the same time just trying to tell the people, or the sword agents, that they need to help the people, like they're in danger from pretty much Wanda, apparently. And then he just like curls up in a ball, and he's just like all shriveled up and pretty much dying. And Billy senses it. Like he actually, this is where you actually see his Wiccan powers pretty much come alive. Because he has the same powers as Wanda, and he uses magic. It's not magic as powerful as hers, but nonetheless, he still uses magic. But he can hear Vision screaming in his head, and he sees all the sword agents and everything, and he runs to Wanda and explains the situation to her. And she's just trying to ask, Billy where he sees Vision at, and like Pietro's like, why are you freaking out? It's like not like your dead husband could die twice. And Wanda like gets pissed off and like uses her magic and just like shoots her magic over at Pietro, and he goes flying. The kids look shocked and freaked out, but Wanda gets the answers out of Billy, and she like stops everybody. Like she uses her powers and like stops everybody. Like it's like she just like came to just like that, and she uses her magic and shoots like her red rays just like explode, and it's like the barrier, the hex barrier, starts expanding, which sucks all the sword agents in, of course, except for Hayward. He gets away, but Darcy ends up getting locked onto a truck because she was trying to run to help Vision, but then she gets sucked in into the hex. But Monica and Jimmy are okay because they're already leaving to go meet with Monica's guy, the neurospace engineer, because they were going to have something to help Monica get into the hex. So they were already leaving. And we're pretty much just left with that. The end of the episode is Wanda expanding the hex. So that's episode 6. Really cool episode. By far, probably one of my favorites. Just for the simple fact of like the costumes were really cool. Everyone had their own costumes, and it was comic accurate. So that's that one. Now, WandaVision episode 7. It had a Office intro, which was really cool. Kind of funny that they did an Office intro. I mean, it was kind of like Modern Family as well because the font that the show's logo was in. But it had the Office music, which was awesome. But like I said, it was very interesting that they went with that because, I mean, it made sense for the time because Office was really popular in that time period of like the early 2000s. But Jim Harper, the guy that plays Jim Harper in The Office, is John Krasinski, and it's been rumored for like ever that John Krasinski is supposed to play Reed Richards, and it'd be cool, you know. Apparently, a lot of people are assuming that that John Krasinski's Reed Richards is the neurospace engineer that Monica's actually supposed to be meeting, but that's not the case, unfortunately. Not to say that he still won't be Reed Richards, but we'll see. But in this episode, Wanda's depressed. You know, she's she wakes up, and Vision's not there. She pretty much just comes to a realization and accepting the fact that she knows that she can't control Vision anymore. That he's just doing his own thing. That if he doesn't want to be home, then she can't do anything about it. But she could have just went looking for Vision and found him and brought him home. Like he was in trouble. But apparently literally after she expanded the barrier, I guess her and the kids just went home. And I guess she kicked Pietro out. Because like she starts being really bleak with the kids and tells them that that Pietro is not their uncle, that man is not Pietro. And they're like, who is he? And she don't know. Like she changes the subject because she don't know. But yeah, she wakes up, Vision's gone. She starts losing control of her world because the kids end up coming up to the bedroom and saying that the weird stuff's happening with their game. They were playing, I think, on an Xbox or something, and it changed to like a Wii controller. It changed from Wii controller to like a Sega controllers, and it changed from like a Sega controller to like Uno cards. And then her being in this depressed mode is making her like lose like focus on the world around her. So things aren't staying the way they're supposed to in this reality anymore. And Billy keeps trying to tell Wanda that Billy's hearing like these voices in his head, and it's like really loud. And she just kind of blows it off, like whatever, kind of, because at this point she just doesn't really care. Like I said, she's being very bleak with the kids, like with the twins, and she's just telling them pretty much how it is in her head, that pretty much life's meaningless in her eyes. Like she specifically says, and that's the way she sees it, you know, that they have their own decisions to make on how they see the world, but in her eyes, everything's meaningless. Which is dark, but the way she describes it is, you know, their dad is literally made of vibranium, you know, the kids are born with tough skin. As if that's really a thing. I don't think the kids have excuse me, vibranium skin. I don't think they really have that kind of skin. But that's the way she sees it. But Vision wakes up and he's at a circus. Um, and the one of the strong man at the circus, the guy that pretty much handcuffed Darcy to a truck, he shows up and he's like the strong man. He's like, oh, he's like, so you're the new clown. He's like, well, at least you're already wearing makeup. Vision's like, what? And the strong man, sword agent, he like points over to Darcy and he's like, you're performing with her. And she's pretty much, she's apparently an escape artist because she's still chained to the front of a truck. So she's an escape artist at a circus. Um, then it pans back off to Wanda and the kids. Like Wanda's like making cereal in the kitchen and the milk keeps changing. When Wanda comes back to the living room, she just sits down and just still being really bleak with the kids and really depressing. Then Agnes shows up. She takes the kids off Wanda's hands, and Wanda's like more than happy for her to do that. But Agnes takes the kids. After she takes the kids over to her house, Wanda notices that things in the living room start changing again, so she like changes them back to the way she wants it, but she can't keep everything under control. And she doesn't. And she says in the like face-to-face interview things that kind of like they do on The Office as well in Modern Family. She says in like the interviews with like the directors, the people that's holding the cameras, she says that she doesn't know why these things are happening. And the voice comes over, the director's voice comes over, and like talks over her and is like, well, is it because like this is what you really deserve? And Wanda's like, you're not supposed to talk. So she's like losing control of everything. Like she can't even control like the people from like not talking. And it pans back over to Monica and Jimmy. They find out about Project Cataract, which is what Darcy found out about by going through like Hayward's stuff and all of his top secret info and stuff. Like he had a firewall protecting this info, Project Cataract. So this Project Cataract is supposed to be his big plan and what he's been up to. But Monica and Jimmy are pretty much going to meet her guy, and turns out it's just some regular soldier. The aerospace engineer isn't really there. I mean, he could have been, but he didn't show his face, or she, whoever it was. And they have like this huge like spacecraft shuttle truck thing that they brought for Monica to go to make an attempt to get back into the Hex. Then it pans back off to Vision and Darcy, and Vision wakes up Darcy, and Vision explains to her, like, hey, we need to leave. They leave. The strongman's sword agent tries to stop them from leaving. Darcy punches him in the face, which is what he deserved, because he locked her onto the front of a truck and got her stuck in the freaking Hex. And then after they leave, there's like a Nexus commercial. It's a commercial break, and it's over a Nexus thing. It's like the like medication commercials you see, like where they talk about how good the medication is, but oh, there's all these like really horrible side effects. And it's just the pill that the Nexus pill, like the thing that's talking about, is you take it for depression and stuff. And then Billy, pans off to Billy and Tommy over at Agnes's house, and Billy's like petting Agnes's rabbit. And he explains it to Agnes that he likes it over here with Agnes. And she's like, well, why? And Billy's like, well, it's quiet over here. You're quiet, Agnes. As if she doesn't have any voices in her head. Like, everyone in the hex has Wanda's voice in their head. But Agnes don't. And Billy figures that out. Okay. Then Monica tries to make an attempt to re-enter the hex. She pretty much drives like headfirst, like into the hex with the spacecraft shuttle truck thing, and she doesn't make it. It starts to like it's like hitting a rock or a brick wall. Like she doesn't go anywhere. But then, like slowly, the hex starts taking the truck in and changing it, and Monica like jumps out of the truck. That way, she doesn't get sucked in. But then, after she jumps out, she just runs in. She could have just stayed in the truck, but oh well. But she runs in, and like her personalities or her parts of herself start splitting, and you see it like, when she enters the hex. And you hear all these voices. You hear like her mom's voice. You hear her Monica's young self, and then you hear Carol Danvers. So you hear Captain Marvel, and then all of a sudden she like pulls herself together and she enters the hex, and her eyes are like glowing blue, and she sees all these like ultraviolet rays. Like she has an ultraviolet vision or something. So it's a thing now. Monica's now officially Spectrum. Even when she takes her like astronaut suit off, like she's wearing like the Spectrum like color, like her black and white colors, and it's even in the same pattern as her comic accurate outfit, with the fully white shirt and the black on the shoulders and meets at the chest. Then Darcy starts Darcy starts to like it pans back off to Vision and Darcy, and Darcy's trying to jog Vision's memory, and starts telling him everything about like what his past self went through. Tells him about Jarvis, Ultron, everything. And then they're stuck at a light. and then you see Vision make this face, which is like accurate to like Jim Harper from The Office. I think that's his name, Jim Harper. Yeah. So more office references, and that's like a clear John Krasinski reference. Which then again, Reed Richards, who knows? Then there's like this really epic scene with Spectrum or Monica facing off with Wanda. But she's not trying to, like, Monica's not trying to fight Wanda. Like, she goes there to try and help her and explain things to her, but Wanda doesn't want to hear it. Like, she literally, like, throws Monica in the air. But when Monica lands, you see, like, these lights glow around her, and she does, like, a superhero landing. Agnes looks out her window and sees Monica and Wanda talking it out, and it looks like they're about to come to a conclusion. But then Agnes stops it, and she starts acting suspicious. And when Agatha takes, or I just pretty much said it right there. When Agnes takes Wanda back to her house, the twins aren't anywhere to be seen. Like their sandwiches are still on the coffee table. Their drinks are half full, and like she looks over, like Wanda looks over at the rabbit, and then she hears a freaking cicada, like a big ass fly, like on the curtain, and there's like these weird like vibes going on in Agnes's house. It's Agatha, like Wanda asks where the twins are, and Agatha's like, okay, well, the twins are in the basement playing. Wanda goes down to the basement, and it's like this creepy witch lair. And their first thing that she really sees is this book that's like floating on a stand, and it's like glowing. A lot of people are saying that's the Darkhold. It's not confirmed, but a lot of people are saying that's the Darkhold. It makes sense. The Darkhold, if you don't know, in the comics, is made by Chthon. Chthon is like a really, really powerful being, super old. Um, I mean, he's not around anymore. I'm pretty sure in the comics, Chthon gave Wanda her powers when she was like a kid, like a baby or something. Um, I mean, he gave her powers by giving some of his power to her, which turned her into a witch. That's what happened in the comics. Not sure if that's going to play out in the show or in the MCU, but we'll see. But then Agnes shows up with the rabbit, and she explains. She's like, "Well, I'm actually Agatha Harkness, and and it's lovely to meet you, dear, finally." And she like uses her magic on Wanda, and Wanda's eyes turn purple because apparently that's what Agatha's magic looks like. It's like purple. And then you get then all of a sudden like this really catchy tune plays, and it's been Agatha all along. That's the name of the song, pretty much. That's what, and it's Catherine Hahn singing it. The actress that was played by, or it's the actress playing Agatha is Catherine Hahn, and she's the one singing the song, which is kind of cool. And it just shows, everything that she's done. She was the director in the chair when the director spoke out. She was the one that killed Sparky. Yeah. And turns out she was the one that. What else did she do? Oh yeah, she was the one that was controlling the rabbit at the magic show in episode 2. And she was the one that pretty much possessed Pietro's body. It's still not confirmed if it's Pietro or not. I think she kind of confirmed it in episode 8, called him fake Pietro. We'll see if it's Peter Maximoff from the Fox series. We'll see. But apparently she possessed whoever the hell Evan Peters' character is. She possessed him to play the role and pretty much be a way to get whatever she wants to find out of Wanda, because that's back in episode 6 when he was trying to ask all these questions. It was really Agatha asking all these questions. He was pretty much using him as a puppet. So yeah, it's been Agatha all along, and that's where the episode ends. It literally ends right there with Agatha laughing about killing Sparky. But then there's the very first after credit scene where it shows Monica going down to Agatha's basement. Well, she opens up the basement door, and she sees all these purple like lights coming out of it, and like Evan Peters doesn't show up once in episode 7 except for the after credit scene, and he catches Monica about to go down to the basement, and the only thing he says is Snooper's gonna snoop. And I want to believe that it is the Evan Peters Quicksilver from the Fox movies, but when he showed up in episode 7, he didn't even have his white hair like he usually does. I mean, even in the Halloween episode and the episode before that, when he made like a surprise appearance, he had white hair, but he didn't have his white like Quicksilver hair in the after credit scene. Like it looked like brown, like it looked normal. So I don't know. We'll find out in like in a later episode, but I'm just going to end the episode 6 and 7 review here. It's 40 minutes now, so I'll see you guys at the episode 8 review. Oh yeah, before I end it, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. And make sure you have the bell notifications on. That way you're staying up to date with all my reviews and videos and all my gameplays. I still got to do a part 3 of Batman Arkham Asylum. And I will be doing a big, like, unboxing. Well, it's not a huge unboxing. I got a few things to unbox. But yeah, it's going to be a WandaVision themed unboxing video. So, be sure to stay tuned for that. I'll be doing that after my episode 8 review. And I'll probably theorize a little bit in the episode 8 review. Since how it's just going to be just one episode review. Yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Like I said, make sure you like, subscribe for more content. I really appreciate it. And stay tuned for more videos. Peace out, YouTube, and have a cringy day.